The heartbeat of God. God's heart has pretty much been recorded in a book. And anytime we open this book and read it, we should be hearing the heartbeat of God. But occasionally in the course of our lives that God speaks directly from His heart to our heart. For me, the first time was in 1962. I was in Enlow United Methodist Church. It was a hot July night, and I knew God was speaking to me, but I had no intention of responding. But I found myself at the front of the church that night, and I knew exactly why I was there, that Jesus Christ, God's Son, had died on the cross for me, and that He was buried and raised from the dead, and the centrality of the resurrection was a powerful thought in my heart and mind that night. And 3 weeks later, as a brand new Christian, I stood before 400 teenagers and committed my life to follow Jesus Christ and whatever it was that He wanted me to do. Well, years would pass, and by 1974, I'd pretty much forgotten what those promises were. But at a Bible study with men that I worked with at Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas, God reminded me that His heart hadn't changed at all, that the promises I made 12 years before were still in His expectation for my life. And that led to some significant changes in the mid-70s. And by 1979, I knelt in the State Fair Music Hall in Dallas, Texas, and I committed the remainder of my life to follow God in whatever it was that He wanted me to do. And His word to me that night was simply, be faithful, be faithful. In 1982, I began to understand that God's heart for nations. I was reading about China one night, and God spoke and said, someday you'll be there. And for the better part of 30 years, I have waited for that very thing to happen. In 1996, God spoke to me, His heart, about the way He looks at cities, and that cities are savable. And I thought of Nineveh and Jonah, but Jacksonville is savable, and the cities of this planet. In 1999, God's heartbeat drew me to Russia. I remember being very surprised. I thought it was to be China, but God had me in Russia, and He told me twice, your ministry in Russia will increase. And indeed it has, 17 years now, that we've been seeking to reach the Black Earth region of Russia. In 2014, having just returned from Russia, I was reading a newsletter from my friend Dwight Smith and the ministry that he had going in China and India. There that word China was again, after more than 33 years. And God was yet, His word that night to me was simply one word, now. And so here I am today, ministering in Asia, in China and India, which is the ripest mission field, I think, on the planet right now. But China and India and Russia, and who knows what else is in God's heart for the future.